Good evening, everybody. We are very happy to be able to continue with the Abhidhamma sharing with all of you. And first of all, I would like to say sorry about that I won't be able to be live with you tonight because there was an unexpected trip to Japan with my family. So probably at this moment that you're looking at this video, I will be in Hong Kong in the airport getting ready to get on board. But anyway, the class is going to continue and Bante is together with you. So whatever questions that you come up with during the class with concerning the content, Bante will be there to answer your questions, and also we can discuss together later on. Okay, so let's start. Okay, welcome everybody. So let's start this evening. We're continuing with Jhāna VTs, which are mental processes, the continuation from the session 31 about mental processes. So let's start with paying respect to the Buddha as usual. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Okay, so let's start today's sharing with Jhāna mental processes. So last time we have talked about mental processes, different kind of mental processes. I hope you remember in the last session, if you have time to take a revision of video number 31, we have talked about 5 sense door mental processes and some kind of mind door mental processes. So mental processes, as you remember, it is actually a series of chittas that combines when the mind sees something or when we think about something. So a series of chittas, they happen, they arises and passes away, different kinds of chittas, and then they perform the function of recognizing something in different kinds of process. They have different kinds of functions. For example, previously we have seen the 5 sense door mental processes. This happened when we see something, when we hear something, smell something, taste something, touch something. So at those moments, eye consciousness arises and then it gets what kind of object, visible object it is looking at. So at those moments, a 5 sense door mental process will run in the mind stream. And after that, some other kind of mind or mental processes, purely mind or mental processes, will take those kind of visible object and process it, let's say, to understand what it is, like it understand its shape, and then it takes some other parts and then they put them together, and this is a key, or it is something, or this then first it sees its shape and then it knows its name, and all these kind of different kind of mental processes we have already seen previously. So briefly, the 5 sense door mental processes can be further divided into 4 groups depending on the type of object and how clear it is, how much impact it has on the mind. So very great object, slight object, and very slight object. So it has these 4 kinds of different mental processes that could happen depending on the impact that these objects have on the mind. And then, as we have just described, the other kind of mental processes are those that are purely mental, that is nothing to do with the eye anymore at that moment. Well, cannot say nothing to do because the information came from the eye, but it is those mental processes that happen after the 5 sense door mental processes to understand what it is. So if you have seen the last video, then you are very clear about what I'm talking about. It will be fresh in your memory. Those that understand the object, yes. So after the 5 sense door mental processes, then other kinds of mind or mental processes happens in order to understand the thing. Also, besides those kind of mental processes that happen after 5 sense door mental process, there are also other kinds of mental processes which are purely mind. For example, when we are thinking, imagining, or any kind of with some kind of memory, or all these kind of processes that is not dealing with a present visible or audible or smell, this kind of object, but purely mind. So those kind of mental process which have to do with sense object are also included in this group. So here in Kamawachara, which is sense sphere mental processes, here we can also further divide it into clear object or not so clear object. So clear object means that those memories or those thoughts are very vivid in the mind, and we clearly know what is happening. And the not so clear ones means like sometimes if we try to remember something, but we don't remember so well, what was it, and or something like that. So those kind of object might be not so clear. So in those cases, there are more bhavanga chittas that happens in those processes. Okay, so these two groups we have actually already covered in our previous sessions. So today we are going to look at other types of purely mind or mental processes. So the ones that we haven't seen are those mental processes that are called apana. So apana mental processes includes jhana mental processes, which are a stage which is reached by samatha meditation. So when a person does concentration meditation practice, then at one point they will arrive to the jhana stage. And in this type of mental process that we are going to look at are those mental processes which are those processes that when one already arrived to this kind of stage. So, well, later on we will see a little bit more and it will become more clear. And the other type of mental processes under the apana group is called magga. As you remember, magga means path. Those are the enlightenment processes. So that means when one practices vipassana meditation and when one gets enlightened, those kind of mental processes will run in the mind of the person. Okay, so briefly, mental processes can be divided in this way, like five sense door mental processes or purely mind door mental processes. But also we can classify them into another group, another way of classification. So now in this way, if you look at this diagram, you will see that kama, vachara, sense sphere mental processes, we have included the five sense door mental processes and the purely mind door mental process, which pertain to the sense sphere, meaning that those objects are sense object. So these, now we group it in this way into one group, and then the other group, these apana mental processes, are those that require more effort, require practice. So samatha meditation practice and vipassana meditation practice. So in these practices, one does not take the five sense door mental process. In the jhana process and magga process, they do not take five sense objects, sense sphere object as their object. So therefore, they are separated into another group. So now we will look into more details and it will become more and more clear. Okay, so apana mental process, as we have talked about, jhana and magga. The other one, I will just go back a little bit. These processes, the sense sphere, we have already covered in the previous sessions. So today we are not going to repeat it anymore. So we will go directly into apana mental processes. Well, the word apana, we are going to look at it in a little while. Okay, so apana mental processes, meaning jhana mental process and magga mental process. So now let's look at jhana mental processes first. So now we have to remember a little bit. We have to use the information we have previously acquired. if you have the time to revise video number 13.2, then it will be fresh in your memory again about jhana. So here we will only briefly talk about it, and then we will go to the processes. Now, in chapter 1, we have already seen about, looked at jhana chittas. So jhana chittas can be divided into two groups, rupavachara and arupavachara, meaning those chittas of fine material plane and those of the non-material plane. So rupavachara of the fine material plane, meaning that this kind of jhana or samatha meditation practice, they take those objects, the concept of those objects which are based on material properties. So that's why they're called fine materials. And these chittas of the non-material plane, here they take the non-material objects as their meditation objects. So they are classified into non-material. So in the video 13.2, I think it is clearly explained already. So let's go into a little bit other information, still revision. And the word jhana, sometimes it is directly translated as absorption. Here, absorption is a direct translation, but in Pali, actually, jhana, this word is derived from the Pali root j, meaning to contemplate and to burn up. So here, for jhana, there are 2 points that we need to be remember, which are important. So now we're going to look at that. So to contemplate and to burn up. So to contemplate what? To contemplate the mental objects with a high level of concentration. And to burn up what? Then that is to burn up the 5 hindrances. So let's remember what are the 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances are sense desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and remorse, and doubt. So these 5 kinds of hindrances, like obstacles, those are the 5 things that does not allow the mind to concentrate and to fix its attention onto either meditation object. So therefore, in jhana, the word jhana itself means the contemplation of the meditation object with a high level of concentration and burn up temporarily these 5 kind of obstacles. So therefore, they are called jhana. So for jhana, it is important to remember that the 5 hindrances are temporarily being suppressed. So when jhana is happening, these 5 hindrances are not present at that moment. Okay, so the burning up of these 5 hindrances is called jhana. Now, another important point about jhana that we have to remember are the jhana factors. I think you still remember the 5 jhana factors are vitaka, initial application, vichara, sustained application, piti, joy, sukha, happiness, ekagata, and one-pointedness. So these 5 factors are very important. One time in previous sessions, one of you had the questions of whether this kind of mental factors, this combination happened in other chittas as well, those chittas that are not jhana chittas. And then the answer was yes, actually they do happen in other, even this combination, they can happen in other kind of chittas. But here, these vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekagata, they are not just ordinary vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekagata. They are very refined and very highly developed mental factors. So highly developed that then it becomes jhana. So therefore, jhana factors, these jhana factors are very important. Then we have to remember in the first jhana we have these 5 mental factors. Then, as you remember, second jhana, then vitaka is not there anymore. Then we have vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata. Then later we have only piti, sukha, ekagata. Then later on we have only sukha, ekagata. And then we have upeka, and ekagata. So these are about jhanas that we have previously already looked at. So now let's continue with the apana mental processes. So apana, actually here we are going to talk about apana. Apana, the meaning of apana itself is actually vitaka, initial application. But here it is not an ordinary vitaka as we have just talked about. It is actually a very highly developed vitaka. It has the power to keep the mind firmly on the meditation object. So apana equals to vitaka in a sense, no? In its meaning. Originally it comes from this word. So vitaka in the first jhana, in the first rupa vajara kusala chitta jhana, the fine material wholesome chitta. So when one is meditating and then it arrived to the first jhana, at that time, a very highly developed vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekagata. These 5 factors are present in the first jhana, chitta. So therefore, this vitaka, actually, apana refers to this vitaka. So we may also say that apana means first jhana. But in extension, it is not only the first jhana, but all the jhanas can also be called apana. And also all the maggas, the 4 kinds of maggas, the 4 stages of enlightenment, stream entry, one's returner, non-returner, and arahat, totally enlightened being, the 4th stage of enlightenment. These magga chittas or processes can also be called apana because they resemble the first jhana in the sense that it inhibit the 5 hindrances. So therefore, in a more broad way, apana refers to both jhana and both magga. I mean all the jhanas and all magga. So therefore, this word apana comes in this way. Initially it means vitaka, but with an extended meaning, it includes all kinds of jhana process and all kinds of magga process. Okay. So apana mental process, meaning jhana and magga. Now we have seen where this word comes from and what it includes. So now let's go into a little bit more detail about jhana processes. Now, if you remember, how does a jhana mental processes happen? Then one has to practice samatha, tranquility meditation, or concentration meditation. So when one is practicing this kind of meditation, we need a meditation object. The Buddha have explained about 40 types of subject or object for samatha meditation, which includes kasina. For example, some of them would be kasinas like 4 elements or color kasina, light kasinas, or it can be anapanasati, the mindfulness of breathing, or it can be metta, loving kindness. So all these can be the meditation object of samatha meditation. So these 40 kind of meditation object, we will look at them in details in chapter 9. So let's wait until then before we explore more about this. But today we are going to look at when jhana happens, what kind of mental process happens in the stream of mind. Okay. So let's say, as an example, let's take earth kasina as an example. So previously, we have also looked at this example that for this kind of meditation, first one prepared an earth disc. Then one contemplate about this disc. So at this moment, when one is looking at the earth disc, the actual earth disc, what happened is that idle mental process surely happen first because we're looking at it, the visible object. So here you see bhavanga, 3 bhavanga will happen, the vibrating bhavanga, and then the arresting bhavanga happens. Then panchadovara avajana, meaning the 5 door adverting consciousness happens. Then it comes Chaku Vinyana, eye consciousness happens here. Then Sampatichana, receiving consciousness. Santirana, investigating consciousness. Then Votavana, determining consciousness, which is also going into the mind door. Then Jhāna, 7 times of Jhāna. Here it can be kusala or akusala, if we like the object or if we don't like the object, because it is still a 5 sense mental processes. But here since we are practicing meditation, so suppose, let's say here we are having kusala mind states, wholesome mind states here. No, we're looking at the object, and then since the object is very clear, then Tadaramana and Tadaramana 2 times, the registrating or the those chittas that takes the same object as Jhāna, then it happens twice, and then it goes back to Bhavanga. So now the first thing that happened is an idle mental processes. Then later on, other kind of purely mental processes will happen. Bhavanga, then vibrating Bhavanga, arresting Bhavanga, Manodawara Vajana, mind or averting consciousness. Then again, Jhāna. So here, suppose, let's say it is a wholesome mental, wholesome chittas here when we are practicing meditation, but also sometimes unwholesome mental chittas, unwholesome mind can also happen here. Say, for example, if I'm getting angry, if I don't want to be practicing, or my feet is very painful, or thinking about other things, it is also possible, because here Jhāna is not happening yet, so the mind is still working on the 5 senses. So there are still possibility here for wholesome or unwholesome mind to happen. So anyway, let's say here it is a wholesome chittas are happening here, then 2 Tadaramana will happen, and then it falls back to Bhavanga stream. So a few of these mind door processes will happen, understanding that this is an earth disk. So until we see this disk for a long time, then it will repeat the processes of mind door, then the eye door, then mind door, eye door, mind door, like this. It will happen again and again. Then later on, when the meditator already have this concept of this shape of the earth disk clearly in her mind, then she no longer have to look at the disk. So at this moment, she can close her eyes, and then it will become purely mind or processes. And at this time, this shape is going to become a concept in her mind, not a real visible object anymore. So in this case, the 2 Tadaramana will not happen anymore in these processes, because Tadaramana only happened with the 5 sense objects. So with concept, Tadaramana does not happen. So here it's only Bhavanga, vibrating Bhavanga, arresting Bhavanga, mind or averting consciousness, the 7 Jhāna, then it will fall back into Bhavanga stream. Now, continuing practicing this way again and again and again and again, then slowly in the mind of this, continue practicing, in the mind of the meditator, the object will become more and more clear. And at this moment, since we are still practicing, that we have not arrived to Jhāna stage yet, then at this point, this mental process is still a Kamavachara sense sphere mind or mental process. So still in the 5 sense door, because the object is still a concept based on material property. So here is still about sense sphere. Then these jhavanas, in this case, before, if it can be kamavachara kusala chittas with wisdom, or sometimes it can also be without wisdom. So it depends whether it is with or without, if it is kusala chitta. But if it is an arahant, which means a totally enlightened being, because a totally enlightened being, he can also practice jhana. Even he is enlightened, he can still practice samatha meditation. So in this case, for him, for a totally enlightened being, it will be, these jhavanas will always be kamavachara sense sphere Kriya Chitta. Kriya means functional chittas, because a totally enlightened being, he does not plant seeds anymore, so there is no more kusala and akusala for him. So whatever happens, even if he is doing good or even he is practicing meditation, it will only be functional. So here kriya chittas will happen, and it will always be with wisdom in this case. Okay, so after the person continue to practice again and again, then the 5 hindrances will slowly fade away, and it will be temporarily suppressed in this time. Then the object in the mind of the meditator will become more and more clear, and it will become so clear, even like a mirror. At this point, the Vitaka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, and Ekagata, these 5 jhana factors is going to become so strong and highly developed that jhana will arise in this moment. So what happened is that the last sense fear mind door process, which she's still practicing, will happen. Then another mind door process will happen. So here, when it falls back to Bhavanga stream, then another. Well, here Bhavanga can be 1 or can be 2, can be 3, or can be a lot. So we don't know. It can vary the number of Bhavanga. Then after that, when it comes back to a new mental process happen, then it will be vibrating Bhavanga, arresting Bhavanga, Manodawara Vajana, mind door averting consciousness. Then here, our jhana mental process will happen, the first attainment. First attainment here meaning that the person has never attained jhana before. This is the very first time that jhana arises in his or her mind. So in this case, you see there are 5 jhana happens, and then it immediately falls back to Bhavanga. So now let's take a little closer look. Well, actually, I don't know if it is time already. If you want to take a break, then we can come back after rest, and then we'll see you in a little while. Okay, so welcome back, and let's continue with the jhana mind door mental processes. So here, the sense fear mind door processes, the last sense fear mind door process happens, and then it goes back into the Bhavanga stream. And after that, the jhana mental process of the first attainment, meaning that the person has never attained jhana before, and it is the first time that he has attained jhana. So in this case, jhana, the first attainment jhana mental process will arise. So here, vibrating Bhavanga, arresting Bhavanga, then mind door averting consciousness, then 5 jhana will happen, and then it comes back immediately to the Bhavanga stream. So here, let's take a little closer look of this first attainment jhana mental process. Now, these 5 jhana here, each of them has a special name. These 5 jhana here, it's a little bit different from the usual jhana. So let's take a little look one by one. So the first one, after mind or averting consciousness happen, the first one that happens here is called parikama, meaning preparation. So what this chitta does is that it prepares the mind continuum for the attainment which is to follow. So this is the first chitta which happens in the jhana mental process, in the jhana stage, which prepare the coming attainment of jhana. Then the next one, which follows preparation, is called upachara. Upachara in English, it is usually translated as access or neighborhood. So upachara means neighborhood. It is here translated as access. And what it does is actually, I'll go back a little bit. So access, meaning that it is getting much closer. It's getting into to the neighborhood of attaining of jhana. Then the next one is called anuloma. Anuloma, conformity. Here, the conformity, it means that it conforms to both the preceding and the succeeding chittas. which means that it is compatible with both preceding chittas and succeeding chittas. Now here we have to clarify it a little bit. This conformity, this preceding and the following ones, it does not only mean the one before it and the one after it. It actually means that all those ones that are previous or even other mental processes and those mental processes that are going to come. Because here it is actually going to become two very different stages. First one is Kamavachara, is sense, purely sense sphere mental processes, and after that it is going to become Mahagata, which means higher attainment. It is reaching to become higher, to become sublime. Those kind of mind states are much more sublime and much more refined. So this anuloma is those that is the chitta that is in between these two types of very different kind of mental stages or mental processes. So this anuloma is the one that is like when it is going from one thing to another thing, but it is like in the middle, it is like smoothing it out. So from here it's very smoothly runs into the other type. So this anuloma here in this place is called conformity. Now the next one that we are going to look at is called Gotrabhu. Gotrabhu actually means changing lineage. And here is interesting because Gotrabhu actually has the meaning of both overcoming and reaching. So here in the Jhāna mental process, it means overcoming the Kamavachara sense sphere lineage and reaching into the Mahagata, the sublime lineage. So here in this stage, after that, after this chitta, right away, it is no more Kamavachara. It is going to become Mahagata, is going to become sublime. So here, from here, it changes its lineage. So this is an important chitta actually. Now, after Gotrabhu, what is going to happen is Jhāna. Now, this is the first time that Jhāna arises in a person, because we are talking about the first attainment process here. So only one Jhāna chitta will arise, and then it will fall back to Bhavanga stream. So for the first attainment process, it has 4 preparation, and then 1 jhana, and only one it arises and it falls back, and then later on it can arise again. But this jhana mental process finish in this case. Now this jhana, it can be first jhana, it can be second jhana, it can be third, fourth, fifth jhana, depending on what the person is practicing. If a person is practicing, he has never attained any kind of jhana before, so the first one that he will attain is first jhana attainment process of the first jhana, surely only first. But if the person has already attained first jhana and he is practicing for the second jhana, then in this case, it will also happen in the same way, but this jhana is going to be the second jhana. Although it is still called the first attainment, but it is the first attainment of the second jhana because he has never attained second jhana before. So the whichever jhana, first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, whatever jhana it may be, if it is the first time, whichever stage it may be, if it is the first attainment, first time, then it will happen one mental process like this one, which is called the first attainment of jhana mental process. Now, from here, this jhana chitta, actually from here, it changed the lineage from Gotrabhu, it changed the lineage to Rupavachara or Arupavachara Kusala chitta. Here, the chitta changed. From until here, it is still sense sphere, but here it has already changed into fine material sphere or non-material sphere, depending on what stage of jhana the person is practicing. For example, the first jhana with the 5 kind of mental factor, 5 kind of jhana factors, the first jhana will surely be Rupavachara, so fine material, Kusala chitta in this case. Or if it is already the 5th jhana, then it will be Arupavachara Kusala chitta here with this jhana chitta. In this case, it is non-material sphere. So it is changed lineage from sense sphere to Rupavachara, fine material or non-material plane. So here it is Kama Vachara Kusala with wisdom. So these ones, although it is in the same mental process, here the interesting thing is that in one same mental process, different kind of chittas happened, different group of chittas happened in the same mental process. Usually, Jhāna, as we have seen before, the 7 jhavanas, they always repeat themselves. They happen the same, no? Like if it is a kusala chitta, so it will be the same type of kusala, like that, 7 times, same type. Or even if it is akusala, if it is a loba mula chitta, so it will be loba, like that, 7 times. So usually they are like identical. But for this attainment process is a little bit different. These 4, they will be one kind of the Kamavachara Kusala Chitta, and it will always be with wisdom. So 4 of them. And then it will happen another group of chittas which belongs to fine material or non-material. So in one same mental process, 2 different groups of chitta arises in this case. And now here, with wisdom, Kamavachara Kusala Chitta with wisdom. Here we may say that, why is it always with wisdom? Can it be without wisdom? So here, this kind of wisdom, we must understand that this kind of wisdom are a different kind of wisdom, not those kind that eradicate defilements, because those kind of wisdom only happens or can be cultivated by vipassana meditation. So here, this kind of wisdom means different kind of wisdom, meaning that those kind of wisdom that understands that meditation practice is good, cultivating the mind is good, and surely this is going to bring some kind of good result by this mental practice, by this mental cultivation. So this kind of wisdom will surely be there, because without wisdom, jhana is not possible to arise. So in this process also, jhana is also always with wisdom, of course. So this kind of wisdom, we just have to pay attention. Then those are not the kind of wisdom that can eliminate defilements. It temporarily suppresses defilement, so the 5 hindrances does not arise, but it cannot uproot them. So it is very important, because samatha meditation, concentration or tranquility meditation, cannot lead to enlightenment, cannot lead to the development of wisdom, which can uproot those kinds of defilements and lead us to final liberation. So here it is important, because we are talking about jhana, we're talking about samatha meditation. So some people may say that, so here we can also develop wisdom. So that means that samatha meditation can also lead to enlightenment. So it is not in this way. So this wisdom is a different kind of wisdom. Okay, so let's continue. Now, in some cases, it is possible that the preparation is only 3 types. Only upachara, anuloma, and gotrabu, without parikama, without preparation. So only access or neighborhood. Then we have conformity, and then we have change of lineage, and then jhana arises. So here only 4 jhavanas here can also happen. So for those people who are very bright, who are very fast and keen in meditation, so this kind of mental process happens in their mind without parikama. So in Pali, it's called tika panya pugala, meaning keen faculty. And the other person, which has a little bit less sharp mind, then parikama will be necessary. So in Pali, it's called mandapanya pugala, average, a person with average faculty. But actually, we are saying that average faculty, but for a person to be able to attain jhana is actually already very sharp-minded. But if the person is even more sharp-minded, so this preparation is not necessary. But you see, it's only 1 chitta difference. So already whoever is possible to attain jhana has very stable and very sharp mind. Okay, but just to let you know that there are different processes depending on the individual as well. So sometimes parikama, the preparation happens, or sometimes it does not. Okay, until here, I hope everything is quite clear. And if you have some questions or you have some comments, please ask Bante. And so we will continue. Now, with what we have seen right now are those process of first attainment. So we may say, then after the first attainment, then what happens? And also what about those persons that already attained the jhana before and they want to attain jhana again? So the second type of jhana mental process that we are going to look at is called Sammapajjhana jhana vitti, which is called absorption process. Okay, so let's look at it. Now, until here, it is going to be the same. Bhavanga, vibrating bhavanga, arresting bhavanga, mind or averting consciousness, preparation, neighborhood, conformity, change of lineage. Until here is the same as the first attainment. Then after that, after Gotrabhu here, in Gotrabhu here, which is the changing lineage, since it is not the first time that this person is going to attain jhana, the name of this chitta, Gotrabhu, is going to change to Modana. Modana actually means cleansing or purifying. So for a person which is going to attain again, he does not have to change lineage anymore because he have already changed it previously. So this chitta here is now called Vodana, meaning purifying or cleansing. So he just have to purify his mind, clean his mind, and to enter into jhana, a higher or more sublime or subtle mind state. Okay, so here Vodana. Then after that, there will be jhana. A lot of jhana will happen. Here is also a special case because usually in the jhavana stage, only 7 jhavana happens. But now here in the Sammapajjhana jhana vittis, meaning the absorption process, as much as the person wish to stay in jhana, then there will be as much jhana chittas will arise in his mind. For example, when the person is meditating and he said, may I stay in jhana for 3 days and 3 nights continuously. So for 3 days and 3 nights, then no other chitta than jhana chitta will happen in his mind. So it will be jhana. So for 3 days and 3 nights, he will not be able to see anything, listen anything, or smell anything in this case because no 5 sense door process is going to happen. It's only jhana. So when the determined period is finished, okay, so now he has been practicing and his mind, only jhana chitta has been arising in his mind. Then when the 3 days and 3 nights is over, the determined period is over, then again Bhavanga stream will happen. Then jhana will finish and then it will fall back to Bhavanga, and then after that, then other kind of mental processes can happen, like eye door process can happen, other kinds of mind door process can happen. So only after he comes out from jhana, that's what we call emerge from jhana or come out from jhana, then again Bhavanga happens. Then only after that, then other types of mental process will happen. So if a person decide, okay, may I stay in jhana for 1 hour? So during that 1 hour of time, only jhana chittas will arise in his mind. And after he come that 1 hour finished, then he emerged from that jhana. Then Bhavanga stream happens again. Then other mental processes happen. So this how many jhana chittas will arise depends on the determination of that person, of the individual. So this is also a special case. So millions of jhanas can happen. Okay, so next, let's see. Now, for a person that that has keen faculty, in this case, parikama will not happen. So it will only happens. Manodawara vajana, mind or averting consciousness happens. Then immediately upachara, anuloma, vodana will happen, and jhana, 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 jhana. So it is basically the same here, only that a keen person, keen faculty person here, parikama, the preparation will not happen. So only 3 preparation and then jhana, 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 jhana. For the tika, panya, pugala person. Okay. Now, when this bhavanga, bhavanga, bhavanga happens again, this is what we call emerge or come out from jhana, as we have just explained right now. So after one emerge or come out from jhana, what happens is that there will be a jhana reviewing process will happen in the mind of this person. So it is, in Pali, it is called jhana. It is called jhana pachawekana viti. Sorry, jhana pachawekana viti. So it's a reviewing process. So let's see how this works and what happens. So after jhana continues, and until the last jhana finish, then it will fall back to bhavanga stream. Then this bhavanga can be 1, bhavanga 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or a lot. So we cannot tell exactly, but bhavanga will happen. Then again, bhavanga, vibrating bhavanga will happen, and a resting bhavanga will happen. Then manodawara vajana will happen, mind or averting consciousness. Then here, 5 jhana will again happen. So this 5 jhana, what does it does? What it does is that it reviews what happened. Okay, now we'll go into a little bit more details. Then after this 5 jhana, then again it will fall back to the bhavanga stream. Now in this process, the manodawara process, this purely mind door process, immediately after the jhana absorption, will take the object of the mental factors, the jhana factors of that jhana, and it will review what happened. So it will, for example, in the first jhana, where vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekagata happens. So if it is the first jhana, so in this process, it will review its own mind that, in this jhana, vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekagata was very strong. So it takes this jhana factors as its object and it reviews it. Then one of these mental reviewing process will happen. Then we will fall back to bhavanga, 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 bhavanga. Now, after that, if it was second jhana, so this mental process, what it will do is that it will review those jhana factors, those 4 jhana factors that happens in this jhana absorption. So in the same way, if it is a third jhana, then it will review those 3 jhana factors. If it is 4th jhana, then only sukha, ekagata. Then it is 5th jhana, then it will be upeka and ekagata. So it will review whatever jhana that just happened in the mind of that person. So this is called a jhana reviewing process. Okay, so here, since it came out of jhana already, so here in this mental process, this kind of chittas will again become kama, vachara, kusala chitta. It is again 5 sense sphere mental process. So it will take the jhana factors as its object, and so it is not rupa, vachara, chittas anymore here. So here it finished rupa, vachara, and then here again it becomes a sense sphere, kusala chitta, wholesome sense sphere chittas. Then for an arahant, again, it will be kamavachara, sense sphere, but here functional chittas, kriya chitta. Because for an arahant, as we have said, then he does not plant seeds anymore, so there is no more kusala and akusala for him. So whatever he does, it is only functional. So here in this process, what happens for him will be Kamawachara Kriya Chitta. Okay, so here actually, I'm sorry, here this bracket should only comes until here. Only Jhāna, because Manodawara Awajana, mind or averting, is not Kusala. So until here. It is this is a functional consciousness. Okay, so now today we have looked at the Jhāna mental process, 2 Jhāna mental processes, and 1 reviewing process. So let's summarize it. The first attainment process in Pali is called Adhikamika Jhāna Viti. So here, Bhavanga, 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 then vibrating Bhavanga, resting Bhavanga, mind or mental process, preparation, neighborhood, conformity, change of lineage, Jhāna, only one time Jhāna will arise, then Bhavanga will happen. And then the second type of Jhāna mental process that we have seen today is called Jhāna absorption process, meaning Samapajhana Jhāna Viti. So this is the process that is not the first time that the person attained Jhāna anymore. So he can stay as much as he wants in Jhāna. So for this process, again, same preparation, neighborhood, conformity, and here, Gotrabhu, change lineage, will become Vodana, cleansing or purification, then Jhāna, 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 until the determined period finish, then it will fall back to Bhavanga stream. So these are the 2 kinds of Jhāna mental process. Then also after that, then there will be 1 reviewing process, which we just looked at. Manodawara Awajana, then these 5 jhavanas will take those jhana factors which just happened in the absorption process as its object, and it review what happened, and then it will fall back into Bhavanga stream. So these are the 3 types of mental processes, purely mind door and higher mental processes. I mean, these 2 higher mental processes that we have seen, and this one is actually a sense sphere mental process concerning Jhāna. Okay, so this is quite a lot of information already, so I think we have to let the brain and the mind digest a little bit. So I think we will stop here today and let the information sink. Then we will continue next time to look at the Magga enlightenment processes to see what happens when one gets enlightened. Okay, so here, if you have any questions, please share, and please ask Bante, and we will discuss again another time. So sadhu, 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 and let's recite may the Buddha's teaching last long for 3 times. Buddham sasanam jiram ditatu, and then we will stop here today. Buddham sasanam jiram ditatu. Buddham sasanam jiram ditatu. Buddham sasanam jiram ditatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, everybody. So I look forward to connect with you live by live video next time soon. So have a very nice week ahead, and sadhu, sadhu, sadhu for the effort of coming and continuing with this study of the Buddha's teaching. A very interesting study which concern how our mind works, and all this information again, just as a reminder, is for our practice, is for our own understanding of how mind and matter works. So thank you again. So see you soon. Have a good week. Bye.